picked Jessica to be the co-producer, or the new co-producer, was because of her extensive knowledge of both classic and new Doctor Who. And a co-producer for a series like this, you kind of need to know the background of the actual series. Like, I mean, if you took any like TV series on today, you know, like the producers of the real Doctor Who show, like a lot of them know the history of classic Who, and I think some actually did work on the classic series of Doctor Who, which is awesome. And so with that, you know, having the knowledge of two worlds basically is, you know, that's really key in having in a co-producer. And I mean, also, you know, she was so, I think, immersed in our series where I think she could almost, if you asked her, like almost, she could probably tell you kind of how our series ran, because she was with us so frequently. And so, yeah, I mean, honestly, when Sydney, our previous co-producer, said she had to take her leave to do other stuff, which I totally support her in everything she does, because I've seen some of the stuff she's done, and yeah, she's doing some great stuff. So I'm definitely, you know, happy for her. I wish her the best in everything she does. But she just didn't exactly know that much about Doctor Who. She knew more about like Harry Potter and so forth, which is fine. I mean, I guess you could kind of relate the two mainly because they're both fantasy. But you know, this series, our series, I think of Doctor Who was a more, I want to say, more grounded version of Doctor Who. Like there's real stakes at hand. And with Harry Potter, it's kind of 50-50, like will Harry actually, you know, stop Voldemort or not? So, I don't know. I mean, I think, for me anyways, I want to take the series kind of in a darker direction. I mean, still have it be like, you know, lighthearted at moments and so forth. But like for instance, I know this is way down the road, but season 3 is probably the darkest of all the seasons we have, because I have written all the scripts way in advance just so I can know what I need when I need it. But writing season 3 was like if think of any dark novel you've probably read, it's probably like along that alley of, you know, darkness. And so series 2 is starting to get into the darkness, but it's, you know, it's not quite there. And I mean, with our new actress Sydney back, being our first female doctor, I certainly plan to explore, you know, having a female doctor, just because I know people, like fans of Doctor Who, the real Doctor Who. Some people have said, you know, we want a female doctor, and you know, it's been kind of a 50-50. Moffat's always said no, although he did give us a female master. I mean, it's a close, you know, close difference, but yeah, I mean, I definitely want to look at the aspect of a female doctor and so forth. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, what would you say?
I would say it's pretty much seeing like what kind of trials you can put the doctor through, and like seeing how like she would react, and just the overall idea of like, it's one of those things where you keep pushing your character and seeing how far they can break, or if they can break at all. I mean, it's one of those fun things. So I would definitely say that's probably having a good understanding for the show and being able to bring some stories that kind of like disappeared throughout the show. So it's like, let me think. Probably like if you listen to like the audiobooks, sometimes there's some characters that showed up in there and then they don't show up until the like New Who series. So for the episode where the 8th Doctor transforms into the War Doctor, there was the whole fact that they brought in the companions and made everything valid to the series, and nothing really changed. So
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, having a good knowledge of the show and like really knowing the core of it is definitely something that you have to have in order to do a successful Doctor Who, fan series. And I mean, there are a lot of, different fan series on YouTube and so forth, and, I've seen quite a bit of them, and, the one thing I can tell that they know the most is they know what the Doctor, like what his or her purpose is,
Yeah.
and they definitely know like the direction that he has been. And I think kind of like our series, they take the Doctor to a different direction where he hasn't been before, but then you still keep his core values. So that's, I mean, really, it's, you need to know the knowledge of the show to actually be able to produce it correctly.
I would say he's putting it in the right direction. I mean, I didn't see any problems from watching the first series, and then when we filmed like some of the second series, it was all going a good direction and everything. You could see the development and how things will progress, and there was no like choppy parts to it, so it all rounded out really nicely.
What I officially made it, after we, like for that episode, we had another actress, like our first actress who was supposed to be the female Doctor for series 2 didn't end up working out. That stuff happens, but like with her Doctor, with her being gone anyways, it was kind of hard to tie it into series 2 and really make it a solid prequel, because one, we have a new actress and a new female Doctor, so having that tie-in with that would make zero sense whatsoever. So really now it's just the backstory for Jose Perez's version of the Master, and I mean, it's still canon, but it's like really loose canon. And I mean, like your character, Miss Branston, for instance, like at the end of series 2, this is a minor spoiler. But I mean, if you've seen the Return of the Master, you kind of know what happens to, Miss Branston and Alex Weiss's Master, and then eventually Jose's Master. They end up being put into Gallifreyan prison, and so in series 2, we pick up pretty much where that ended with their characters. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely now more a backstory.
It's like one of those important things that could be paid attention to, because without it, it might get a little confusing about like, okay, why did this happen? And it's like, well, we have an answer. So it's one of those things that you could watch, and it's kind of important to like the other characters that are surrounding it.
Yeah. I know one thing I would probably try to improve on, because I've been told by some actors on the series, and I'm kind of glad they told me this straightforward, because it really does help me better myself as a director. I need to be more precise with what I want, like exactly what I want on set. But I mean, at the same time, yes, I agree. I do need to be a little more to the point of like what I want. But at the same time, like I don't want to completely make the actors feel like they have to do something they don't want to do. So I mean, I still am going to be very open to suggestions. But I'm probably going to try. Well, I will try to be a better, more precise director this time around. I think another thing that we could really improve on this time is people showing up on time. Because really, I think that was our biggest hurdle through series 1. It was like, all right, I've set these times and so forth, and I expect these actors to be here at this time, and then I get texts from actors saying, hey, I'm going to be like 20 minutes late, or I'm going to be 15 minutes late. It's like, oh no. I've told you this in advance, you could have planned accordingly. And I do understand, at the same time, some things you just can't avoid. But, it'd be nice that you told me maybe an hour before you're supposed to show up, not 20 minutes, like not 20 minutes after the time you're supposed to show up. And I mean, because really, there are scenes that, you know, we could have filmed, or that we needed to film, and we couldn't because the actor or actress wasn't there. I mean, luckily, you know, we were able to film some other scenes, but, you know, we didn't always have the luxury. So, yeah, time, I'm definitely going to crack down more on this time. And, I mean, I don't want to be cruel to the actors, and I don't mean to be pushy or bossy or anything, but I feel for season 2 and on to go smoother, we need to have a more, like, precise time that everybody has to be there. I mean, do you, like, I mean, what are your thoughts? Like, I know time-wise is one thing. Is there, I mean, anything else that you, I mean, when working, you know, as an actress, like?
I would definitely say to have a script on hand, because I would have that. I'm like, that is the most important thing you need right then and there, to make sure that everyone's saying the correct lines, and or at least as close to the line as possible, and it's all moving exactly the way it should. So that was like the biggest thing that I noticed. Yeah,
and I mean, like, I usually try to have a script on set, and usually I did, or someone else did, but that, you know, that kind of actually makes me think of another thing. Actors actually know their lines. Now, I mean, you could probably relate more to this than I could, because I'm not really, you know, an actor, but you're more of an actor than I am. Yeah. But the one thing is people not knowing their lines, and this goes hand in hand with the time thing. Like, if you don't know your lines, we have to spend more time relearning all those lines, and that just wastes time, filming time, because, you know, we could be getting 2, 3 scenes done, but we have to stop because, you know, someone doesn't know their lines or anything. And I mean, sometimes, you know, you don't have time, and I guess I kind of get that, but I mean, at least look over the lines to get like a rough idea of what's, you know, what's going to be said. Not looking at the script at all, it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Actor, no, you don't do that as an actor. It's like, so long as you have an idea of what the line is, and I find the easiest thing to do is know at least the last line, so that the person going after you is like, okay, that's what's supposed to be said. So you can paraphrase maybe some things in there, but that last line is really important in order to keep things going the way they are. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't think we'd probably be here if we weren't. I mean, I'm really excited to work with Sydney back as a new female 13th Doctor. And I will admit, a female doctor wasn't actually my idea. It was my past co-producer's idea that I agreed to when Connor had to bow out. I mean, luckily, you know, he was good enough to finish his series, but, you know, we were like, oh crap, well, he was actually planning for another series, so what are we going to do? And, you know, Sydney had always joked like, you know, you should do a female doctor, and I was like, yeah, but I don't know how to write for a female doctor. Luckily, you know, knowing Sydney, how she is, I think I've gotten a better understanding of how she acts, because she's a comedian, so comedians can have real fun on sets with their lines, because, I don't know, they just have a way of, I don't know, of just making the lines funny when they're not funny.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm definitely excited for that. And then I know it's way down the line, but I'm now really looking forward to season 3, because of the finale. Because the finale is basically a 2-part. It's episodes 5 and 6, but it is so huge. I mean, and there's something huge that happens before that. I'm not going to say anything because
no spoilers.
Yeah, we got to get through series 2 first. But I don't know. I mean, overall, I'm excited to film season 2. And I honestly hope this season is a lot better than. I'm not saying that series 1 is bad. I mean, I'm very happy with how it came out under, you know, circumstances of time and so forth. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm just really excited to start working on it. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's just
I
so
mean,
great.
it's fun because I mean you get so much experience that
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't get in class, which is really nice because then you apply that to real life, jobs and so forth. And yeah, so I would say definitely this winter. Now that's kind of a broad answer, but that's kind of the best I can give you because really it depends on, of course, filming when you get done with that. Then you got post-production, which I'll be doing most of it, but then we might have to do some audio for it as well. So maybe January if we're lucky. If not January, it'll be in February again, like last year, or this past winter. So yeah, I mean, just look for it this winter, probably after December. But yeah, so.